And we welcome you back to the Big Time Sports podcast show. And now it is time for a special segment. We now bring in a guest who is one of the top players for the Spire Institute up in Cleveland here. It is Donovan Hunter. Donovan, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, man. So Spire Institute, one of the most unique programs out there in Ohio. I mean, you guys have had players in the past like LaMelo Ball go through the program. Now you guys are throughout this season working your way up, trying to build not only yourselves, but individually, but also your guys as a team. You know, where you guys are at this point in the season, I mean, where do you think you are in terms of where you guys started the season compared to where you guys have progressed to now?
I think at the beginning of the season, we had no connection at all. Like none of us had ever played with each other because we were all from across the country. So it was just a disconnect. And then as the season went on, we just started to play more and more together and trusting each other more. Really, that's what it came down to. So just the more trust we built and everything, Coach Craig pushing to us, everything like that, it helped us to become a good team.
Now, Donovan, you just mentioned, guys across the country. And so you were originally from the Columbus area. You went to Westerville Central, down there in Columbus. And looking at the roster here, you're not kidding. Guys I see here from across the border in Canada, North Carolina, Texas, Georgia. Just talk about the dynamic of going from high school where you've played with guys that you've grown up with pretty much your entire life to now traveling significant away from home and playing with guys that you've never met before until you guys really, show up on the campus of Spire.
Mm-hmm. Well, high school is different. It's like we know, like you said, we know each other since middle school, played together since middle school. So it's like that trust is already built. It's almost like it's easier. It's easier because it's like we already know each other. We've been together. We know what we do best. We know what we can't do good. So it's like what we know what we need to work on also. And then traveling, I feel like it is also a plus traveling with this team too, because it's like in college, when I go to college, you gotta learn this on the go because you don't know these dudes either. It's almost the same thing. So it's like, I feel like, dang, I keep forgetting the question. I'm not gonna lie. I keep forgetting the question.
Just how difficult it is to come to a place with no familiarity with the players and just, having to learn so quickly. And like you mentioned, they're from across the country. I was looking at the states, down south, out east, or up from Canada. Just how difficult is it to get there the first day and try to get to know each other and play team basketball to win games?
All right, yeah. So it's almost like you gotta like force yourself on the people because it's like you have to do it. Like at high school, you don't even have to talk to certain people and you just know them just because you've known them for a while. But like when you first get here, you have to force yourself on the people, like let them get to know you on that day, like so it can just become an easier flow throughout the whole year. And just like, so it's not a disconnect between you and a group of people or you and a certain individual.
For sure. And Donovan, you kind of touched on that familiarity with certain players involving certain schools. You might have I'm not sure if you might have had a case with that formerly at Westerville South. You were on as a sophomore, you guys were on the team that went to state, averaged double figures as a junior. I mean, what was sort of the process in getting yourself to Spire after your years at South?
The process was really just figuring out which place was right for me to go because like I had a lot of options for prep school. Like I had Orangeville Prep, Linkier, Huntington, a lot of those schools out north in that area. So it was like I had to figure out what was going to help me get better for college and prepare me for my future and going to Kent State. So it was like I just had to figure out like who wanted the best for me also. Like Coach Craig, he really likes he wants to develop his players. And I feel like ever since I've been at Spire, I've developed a lot.
And so staying on Spire, Donovan, tell us a little bit about it, right? We know, some of us know what Spire is, and there's a lot of people in our audience that are going to watch or listen to this and might not know what Spire is, let alone that it's in Ohio, up in Geneva. What is it like at Spire? And how different is it from your typical high school that you went through?
Well, at your typical high school, at my old high school, Westerville Central, we had about 1,500 kids, It's 8 classes, different teachers every day. So it's like, it's a lot. At Spire, we got a secluded area away from everybody around Cleveland. We're in Geneva, like really, really far up north by the lake. So it's a secluded area with a really, really nice facility. And it's like at least 40 kids there that go there. So it's almost like we get the focus of school. We don't even have to worry about anything. We got 3 classes a day and no distractions. So it's like we stay strong. It's like the difference is just, yeah, the distractions. There's less distractions. So you can focus on what you need to do. That's really the difference.
And you guys are headed by a coaching staff, obviously led by Coach Craig. I mean, what has he meant to you in the time that you've been able to make the transition to Spire and develop under his wing?
What did you say? I can't hear you. What did you say again?
Oh, I was asking about Coach Craig. Obviously, he's the leader of the coaching staff. He helps you guys. He's helping you guys develop as you guys join Spire and are able to grow with him. How has he been to you guys during this process, especially for when you first joined?
Coach Craig, I'm not gonna lie, he's one of the best coaches that I've ever had. He was a college coach, I'm pretty sure, for like 18 years. I know he was at Stetson. And so yeah, I mean, he's really like, he's a good coach. He helps, he's a pusher, but he also knows when to when to help you grow instead of like forcing, because some people just don't know how to like let off the gas and go on the gas. So it's like he's an equilibrium of knowing he knows what to do is basically what I'm trying to say. He's a really good coach. And I really like him.
Well, it always helps when you have a coach that you like, but when you're making a decision to play at the next level, you have to like a lot of things. And so, Donovan, you are committed to play at a school here in Northeast Ohio, that being Kent State, where you'll be a part of the men's basketball team. Why did you choose Kent State? What went into that? And, how excited are you to be a part of the Kent State program and a team that is off to a phenomenal start this year at 8-3?
Kent State, when I visited, I really wasn't expecting too much. I didn't really know what to expect, honestly. And I went on the campus. It was a beautiful, beautiful campus. The gym is super nice. I love it there. And the energy, I could just feel this was for me. Coach Cindy, he's a great, genuine person. He's a great coach. And I've sat there in practice. He don't play around. Coach Sully, he's a great coach. All the assistants, they're great coaches. And it's like, I know what happens when you get to college. They'll show you all the glitz and glam, but like, I talked to the players too. They even said that's how Coach Cindy is. That's how Coach Sully is. Like, it's really real how it is up there. And it's just, I want to major in some type of mechanical engineering too. And they have one of the top engineering programs and top like architectural programs. Yeah, that's what I liked about Kent.
Now, Donovan, we did do a little bit of research before this interview today. We actually found, I believe, is your account on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, VH614_. Is that correct?
That's me.
I wanted to look on here. You do have your name on there as well, and it's listed Donovan LeBron Hunter. Now, is that just something you put on there, or is that actually a part of your name?
No, that's actually my middle name. My older brother named me when I was born. He gave my middle name. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
All right.
Go ahead,
I
Mitch.
was going to say that's awesome. And so going off that question, Mitch, Donovan, since we are going to be more familiar with you after this interview and we're going to see you play at the next level, and everybody that knows basketball knows who LeBron James is, what type of player are you when it comes to basketball? And, is there a player that you've looked up to your entire life that you try to model your game after or take bits and pieces from?
I feel like I play like I'm a big guard, what people will call, but I can also go rebound. I can go get 8 to 10 rebounds a game. I have great vision. Like I could really pass the ball, but I mean, yeah. And I model my game after Jason Tatum. That's really my favorite player. And I noticed that I played like him when I was at the rec one time, and one of my friends was like, "Oh, he just started calling me Jason Tatum with some joking stuff." I really didn't know who that was at first. So I started watching this film. I was like, "Oh, this dude is good." So then I started modeling this step back, doing this long cross step back, and I was like, "Yeah, I like that." So I just started modeling my game after Jason Tatum. And I really like Paul George and Kevin Durant. I feel like if I was to compare myself to any 3 players, it would be Jason Tatum, KD, Paul George.
Well, Donovan, as you enter the Kent State program next year, which I might add, as a former alumni, I hope you guys the best as well. has there been a way in which you see yourself going into the program as like, okay, this is like my specific, positions I played in the past or the way I usually play my game? Or is it more so you just kind of joining the program and finding whatever place it is that they really want you to centralize on?
I'm coming into Kent State planning on being one of the more focal points of the team. If I'm not averaging 10 to 12 or more points, I'm gonna get to 8 to 10 rebounds a game. I'm gonna be playing really good defense because that's really all I love to play defense. I like to play defense. Like it's really something I really love to do because I don't like letting people score me. And like I know I'm not a selfish player. So if I don't got the open shot, I'm gonna pass it, knowing it's gonna come back to me eventually. So I feel like just me playing the way I'm gonna play, we're gonna win a lot of the games next year. And just planning on being a focal player.
It's not often you hear somebody say how much they take pride in playing defense, and I'm sure that's something college coaches loved when recruiting you. But something else I wanted to talk about is you were a multi-sport athlete, and so you obviously chose to go the basketball route. But talk to us a little bit about football growing up, because you were a very talented football player based off some of the information I got from Spire. And so why was it football, or why was it basketball over football?
Well, basically, I got an offer to Kentucky my 7th grade year playing football. And then going into my 8th grade year, like second, third game of the season, I tore my ACL. But I still played on it. But then I went and got surgery. And after the surgery, I grew like 5 inches. So I was super weak, like, because I was too skinny, too long. So I didn't really want to get hurt again. So then I started playing basketball, training every day. My dad taking me to training, all that. GD, what's his name? Dobo? I forget his name. Mike Thornton. Mike Thornton was the one that helped me really get into being a good basketball player. That's really where it started after I tore my ACL. And then, so I just feel like I grew too fast, honestly, and I didn't want to get hurt again. So basketball was the way to go.
That makes sense. And so now staying on basketball, and, obviously we hope some people get to know you here, and obviously we hope a lot of people get to know you at Kent State, but staying with you personally, what was, besides having to mesh with a bunch of new teammates, when you went to Spire, what was the hardest part about that?
I feel like the hardest part about Spire was honestly just being far away from home, figuring out how to push myself when I don't feel like pushing myself, which I figured it out because really I had to figure it out. I had no choice not to. So that was really the hardest part, just really just being away from home, honestly. Just when you're a kid, I mean, me being a kid, you're gonna miss home. And I knew that going in too. I was like, and you just gotta push through it. That's honestly what I had to do.
And we're going to keep tabs on you and your team the rest of the way. But looking ahead now, after coming out of the holiday break for your basketball team, what are some matchups that you're excited for? And, how do you guys plan to, really come out of the holiday break and get things rolling?
Really, the one game I'm looking forward to is Keystone Prep. We were supposed to play them in the beginning of the season, but they backed out, or I don't know what happened, honestly. But I'm really looking forward to playing that game because they got Delquan Warren. They got a couple other big players that I know of. And I'm really looking forward to that game. I feel like we should go undefeated for the rest of the season, knowing we got to still play Oak Hill, La Lemire. We got a couple of the big teams we got to play. So I feel like we should go undefeated for the rest of the season if we stay focused and keep working.
And if you guys do go undefeated, I'm sure we'll be reaching out to have you back on, some of your teammates, as well as Coach Craig. Donovan, the last question I have is, since you're a basketball player and since you are from Ohio, who is the greatest basketball player of all time?
The greatest basketball player of all time is Jordan. I mean, not Jordan, my bad. I mean LeBron James. This is definitely LeBron James. But I feel like it's just two different eras. So like LeBron, he would have did the same thing back then, but I don't think Jordan would have did the same thing now. Because it's just a different level of skill that it takes back then and now.
Right. That's a great answer. That's the answer I was hoping for. I mean, now you got a ticket to come back on here, as the season keeps going. One thing I do want to ask that we're going to be looking to talk to somebody at Spire about is, it was brought to my attention, this is the first year they've had a girls basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
So what has that been like, being there as a new team, a new program starts up on the campus of Spire? Has it been exciting? Has it gives you guys something else to go watch? And are you guys supportive of each other when you guys aren't playing on game days?
Yeah, they're cool. It's really like a normal high school. I mean, they go play. We haven't really been able to go to a couple other games because usually when they play home, we're away. So it's like, and they're good too. Like they had a lot of struggles in the beginning, but they really picked it up. And I heard they beat IMG's A team. They're actually really good. And yeah, it's really just like normal. They're cool. They're all cool. I love talking to them every day. They're funny. So yeah, I like this regular.
Donovan, we thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And obviously, best of luck to you and all your endeavors, and best of luck to Spire for the rest of the year.
Thank you for having me.